A very warm welcome. Now, Russian President Vladimir Putin has ordered its top general to take charge of its faltering invasion of Ukraine. Now, why is this shake-up so crucial? Just because it is the biggest yet of Russia's malfunctioning military command structure, that too after months of battlefield setbacks. According to Russia's defense ministry, the chief of the general staff, Valery Gerasimov, will take over as the top commander. This move makes Gerasimov directly accountable for what Russia calls its special military operation in Ukraine. The change is a demotion for General Sergei Surovikin. Now, Surovikin was nicknamed General Armageddon by the Russian media only for his reputed ruthlessness. He was in the job only for a few months. Now, the latest moves arrive as Russia and Ukraine both continue to engage in intense fighting over the eastern Ukrainian town of Soledar. But Russia's latest military shake-up is perhaps only an indication of Putin's desperation to show battle successes as Russia gears to reach the one-year mark in the Russia-Ukraine war. Here's a report.
Russia shook up its top leadership in charge of its faltering invasion of Ukraine on Wednesday after months of battlefield setbacks. According to Russia's defense ministry, Chief of the General Staff, Valery Gerasimov, will take over as top commander. The move makes Gerasimov directly accountable for what Russia calls its special military operation in Ukraine. It's a demotion for General Sergei Surovikin, who's nicknamed General Armageddon by the Russian media for his reputed ruthlessness. He was in the job for just a few months. In a statement by the Defense Ministry, they said the reshuffle was meant to improve contacts between different military branches and the quality and effectiveness of the command structure. It all comes as Russian and Ukrainian forces engage in intense fighting over the eastern Ukrainian mining town of Soledar. Russia's private military firm Wagner said they had captured the town. But in a video address released moments earlier, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky denounced any claims that Soledar had been taken.
Now, the terrorist state and its propagandists are trying to pretend that some part of our city of Soledar, almost completely destroyed by the occupiers, is some kind of Russia's achievement. They will present and are already presenting this to their society in such a way as to support the mobilization and to give hope to those who support aggression. But the fighting continues. The Donetsk direction is holding out, and we, without a break, even for one day, do everything to strengthen the Ukrainian defense.
Zelensky said the fighting continues and that they will strengthen Ukraine's defenses. Footage released by the State Border Guard Service of Ukraine purportedly showed Russian troops under fire in Soledar. Reuters was able to confirm the location, but was not able to independently confirm the date the clips were filmed.
Now, Ukraine has denied claims by Russian forces that it had gained control of Soledar, a town in eastern Ukraine. This small salt mining town is the place where the fierce battle continues to rage on. This despite the claims of Wagner Russian mercenaries. And now, seizing the town is quite the bone of contention for Russia. More so because it's part of Moscow's grand plan to take over Donbas region. Here's a report.
Russian and Ukrainian forces were engaged in intense fighting on Wednesday over the town of Soledar in eastern Ukraine, a stepping stone in Moscow's push to capture the entire Donbas region. The Russians appeared to have the upper hand. Moscow's defense ministry said airborne units had cut off Soledar from the north and south. And the mercenary group Wagner, which has spearheaded the assault, said on Tuesday it now controlled the small salt mining town despite pockets of Ukrainian resistance in the center. But Ukraine's military denied Soledar had fallen and said its defensive lines had not been breached. Reuters was able to verify the location of this outdoor footage released by Ukraine's armed forces on Monday, but not the date it was filmed. It also purports to show Ukraine's Colonel General Alexander Syrsky speaking to soldiers in the region. Serhiy Sharavatyi, spokesperson for the Eastern Military Command, told Ukrainian television the intensity of the battles was reminiscent of World War II. And Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov stopped short of claiming victory, acknowledging heavy Russian losses. Victory in Soledar would have symbolic, military and commercial value for Moscow after battlefield setbacks in recent months, and provide a base to intensify attacks on Bakhmut. Russian state media said Wagner had taken over the town's cavernous salt mines, which once produced salt exported to 20 countries. This photograph posted on Wagner's Telegram channel appeared to show the head, Yevgeny Prigozhin, and his fighters inside them. Reuters has been unable to independently verify the situation in Soledar because of the fierce fighting. But a Reuters photographer who reached the outskirts in recent days said many residents had fled along roads out of the town in perishing cold. They saw ambulances waiting and chaotic scenes in field hospitals.
The crackle of gunfire and the roar of armoured vehicles filled sleepy West Ukrainian towns near the Belarusian border on Wednesday. This as Ukraine's army held drills near the Belarus border. Ukraine fears that Russia could build up forces on Belarusian territory only before striking in the northwest or northeast of Ukraine, or even trying to drive towards Kiev as it did when it had invaded last February. Here's a report.
As the enemy could potentially amass troops along our borders and conduct manoeuvres there, where our brigade has its responsibilities, we are now training our mobile rifle units. They train in attacking an enemy that attempts to cross our border and drive further into our territory.
At the moment, we don't see such actions. The troops in Belarus are in the same state as they were in December. We don't see that the number of Russian Federation troops in Belarus rose. Of course, we can't foresee the future, but as of now, we don't observe such actions.
A large number of US Army tanks and military vehicles have begun arriving at the Dutch port of Vlissingen on Wednesday. Now, this was just ahead of their transport to Poland and Lithuania later this year. Why is this crucial? Because this transport is meant to be part of moves to strengthen NATO's eastern flank. And the equipment includes large numbers of M1 Abrams tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles. They belong to the 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 1st Cavalry Division of Fort Hood, which is in Texas in the United States. Clearly, US is providing military assistance. In fact, the Dutch armed forces are also helping with marine security and guarding the port area where the vehicles will be housed before they continue east.
Here in this at this location in Vlissingen, there's about 1,250 pieces of military equipment coming into this port. We've got a couple other ports that we're using across Europe as well, but for this operation here, it's the largest of the three, and it's got a lot of the tanks and tracked vehicles coming for this brigade. So we're very excited about this operation. I think anytime the U.S. does an operation, we have several messages. One of that is partnership for our NATO partners here, and deterrence for our adversaries across the world. So I think it's a great opportunity for us to partner with not only the Dutch, but any other NATO countries that we are working with and partnering with for this operation.
And so on Wednesday, Russian President Vladimir Putin said that the situation in the areas of Ukraine that Russia says it has annexed remained difficult in various places. Let's also listen in to what the Russian president had to say.
We have to solve the most crucial, vital issues right now in an expeditious manner. Actually, that is what we are doing. I understand that the situation in new regions is difficult. In some places, combat actions are ongoing. Peaceful life hasn't been restored everywhere, and the safety of people hasn't been ensured. Of course, all these factors should be taken into consideration. But all this is not the reason to take a break and postpone for later the solution of most vital issues. I am outlining that we guarantee the safety and interests of the country. We will improve our defense. Without doubt, we will solve all the issues related to provision of our military forces, units involved in special military operation. At the same time, we will continue to implement major social economic programs and plans aimed at increasing well-being of people, fulfilling huge potential of Russia, expanding our international ties. We have all the sources for this, without doubt.